Hey guys, HDvee here and welcome to a brand new video. Today we've got some really interesting things to go over for the Indigo Disk DLC. New leaks suggest not everything is going to be available to us when the second part of the Hidden Treasure of Area Zero drops. Got a lot of stuff to break down and get into today, so if you're excited for the video, make sure to drop a like down below. Let's try and hit 500 likes. Leave a comment with your thoughts on the latest leaks. Subscribe if you're brand new, ring the notification bell. With all of that out of the way though, let's get into the video and I really hope that you enjoy. So, starting things off, the first leak that we're going to be going over today is, of course, from Riddler-Coo, and he was replying to a tweet from Austin John, basically saying 10 days before Christmas break, let's see if I can cover everything about the DLC in that time. But then Riddler-Coo replied, saying, definitely not possible, some content is locked. So that automatically sent the community into like a frenzy where people were like, what is it, the story? Like Pokemon locked stuff, like what's going on? So this could be obviously a number of different things. The first thing is it could be that literally something is not available in the DLC when it drops, and that maybe we're going to need like some sort of update patch or something, whether that be certain Pokemon or a bit of the story or something like that. Maybe we have to wait for an update patch. Maybe when the DLC drops, they're going to say, trainers, make sure to download this update patch like next week or something to get like the full kind of experience of the Indigo Disk DLC. So yeah, it could be like an update patch that we have to get a little bit down the line, which could even be like after Christmas, who knows. Another thing could be that some content is locked behind like an actual like event where maybe certain Pokemon, like I'm just gonna guess like the Paradox Pokemon or something like that, like Raging Bolt, Walking Wake, Iron Crown, whatever, maybe they are locked until like a certain event, like maybe they're gonna be like raids or something like that, maybe, which I'm a little bit worried about. I don't want them to be raids at all. I would much rather them be like static encounters because they're more likely to be shiny huntable and stuff like that. But if some content is locked, I feel like it probably means that it is going to be an event like a raid or something like that. So maybe we get like 7-star raids every weekend for Walking Wake, Raging Bolt, Iron Crown, Iron Leaf, stuff like that, and the Paradox Entei and the Paradox Terrakion. I'm assuming that's more likely to be the case because I don't think they're going to lock stuff like in post-game, because apparently like Dokutaro potentially could even be post-game and stuff like that. And if that is the case, I don't think they're going to lock it. I think it is just talking about certain Pokemon that are going to be locked through events, whether that be raids or something like that, or maybe they drop something that's similar to Dynamax Adventures that you can only access after a certain amount of time. But yeah, it's very, very interesting that they are locking something with the DLC. So yeah, it's most likely going to be some sort of raid, in my opinion. It could also be the top part of Paldea as well. Like, it could be certain parts of Area Zero that are locked. It could also be the top part of Paldea, which is like grayed out by the diagonal lines that we were expecting to go back to for the longest of time, which apparently we're not going to be going back to now. But it could even be that. It could be like a new area that like opens up once, you know, they've done this update patch or something like that. It could really be a lot of different things, but with the content being locked, like I say, I'm assuming it's just going to be waiting until Pokemon themselves drop something. So yeah, it's most likely going to be raids. It could be other legendaries as well that are behind 7-star raids, but I just can't really think what else it could be. I don't think it's going to be like the mythical Pokemon. I don't think that would be locked. I mean, it will be locked, obviously, until it comes out, but I think the mythical Pokemon would probably be here like next year or something. I don't think it'd be locked like for a few weeks, whereas I think the Indigo Disk will drop obviously on the 14th, which is like which is a Thursday. And then potentially it could be like the Friday after, which is the 23rd or the 22nd, should I say. We could maybe get a 7-star raid on the 22nd, which would be like... But I mean, that's unlikely because that's kind of like the Christmas weekend, because you have like Christmas Eve on the 24th and then Christmas Day on the 25th. So it could be like the 29th of December, really, where they say like, oh yeah, new raid event, because they're probably going to do some sort of Christmas event around that time, like maybe like a Delibird Massive Mass Outbreak. So maybe like the 29th of December, they say, now you can get Walking Wake and Iron Leaves in these outbreaks, in these raids, and then obviously like a couple of weeks later in January, it could be like, now you can get Raging Bolt and Iron Crown, and then they'll do Paradox Entei and stuff. It'd really suck if they did that, but you know, I can't see them locking story stuff. So yeah, for me, it's probably going to be Pokemon and locked by specific events and stuff like that. But let me know your thoughts on this are. What do you think is going to be locked? Like, what content do you think will not be available when the Indigo Disk drops. But yeah, this sentence here definitely confirms that not everything is going to be available to us when the Indigo Disk drops. Something is going to be locked. So let me know your thoughts on that. Really unfortunate to see that, but either way, it is what it is. Moving on, we have more leaks to go over as well. So we have Riddler here posting, saying the Pokemon community right now. So I'm assuming this is in regards to the release date, how it's just like a, I don't know what this is. It's like an ocean or like a desert or something, but it obviously looks like a very peaceful kind of setting. So he's basically saying now that we've got the release date, it's a very peaceful setting for the Pokemon community, which it is. But then he sends it into wildfire again by saying this, and now we're all guessing like, well, what's going to be locked? So yeah, it was very much this setting for about 10 minutes until he dropped that. But then we obviously have him replying to things as well. So we have Lumio saying Pokemon community on December the 14th. Obviously everybody's celebrating. But then he says Pokemon community would look forward to Project 24 on that day. Which probably means that either that like the Indigo Disk isn't very good and that we're going to be like looking forward to the next one as soon as possible. I highly doubt that. I think what it means is that like as a Pokemon community, like we're not very patient, and then as soon as the Indigo Disk drops, we'll want the next thing. Which is fair, you know, a lot of people are like that in the community. Like a lot of people will get one game, play it for a little bit, and then want the next one straight away. So he's kind of right with that. But yeah, I don't think it means the Indigo Disk is going to be bad, because he's actually been praising the Indigo Disk, really. He's been saying a lot of really good things about it, like the Terrapagos battle is like 10 out of 10. He said the storylines were like really, really good. And yeah, he's really just been singing the praises of the DLC. So yeah, I don't think it means the Indigo Disk is going to be bad. I think it just means that as soon as it's out, people will want I don't know what he means by Project 24, though. I'm assuming he means like 2024 Pokemon game, which again will either be, but he says Projects 24 as well. I don't know if that's a typo or not, but like surely he'd say like would look forward to Project 24 on the day, because that would be like one thing. But the fact that he says projects, I don't know if it's a typo or not, but he says Projects 24, which is obviously plural, meaning more than one. So I don't know what to think of that. Maybe we get multiple things next year. Who knows? Again, we're expecting Gen 5 remakes. Could be Gen 5, Gen 2. Could be spin-off games as well. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I mean, I'm assuming it's a typo, but maybe we are getting more than one thing next year. And then this is just kind of like back and back between Jan and Ku saying, you know, typical Pokemon community, when the current project comes out, it's seemingly not as good as people hyped. They'll start hyping up the next games, yada, yada, yada. So they're so they're doomed to be disappointed. That's why I don't hype up stuff. I remember how crappy Pokemon games are and avoid putting hype in my expectations. I don't think every Pokemon game is crappy. I actually really enjoyed Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Although, obviously, there are like bugs and stuff which are a little bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. I would say fan theory is always fun to watch, also far-fetched. And then we have the Rowlet here saying it's still barren, but with terrestrial glitter. And then people make stupid theories based on appearances and stuff like that. And I think that's everything he kind of like replied to that. But then we had a little bit more of a reply here as well. So this is the one where he's talking about they absolutely need to stop annual projects. It's not just a healthy cycle now. And then we have Riddler replying saying, except BDSP, each basically saying that BDSP was terrible. So he's like, except for like BDSP because it was terrible, each new Pokemon game let me experience new things, so not quite on this. And then Preach, let's just hope it doesn't happen again. Never ever possibly. So I think that is in regards to like a BDSP faithful remake, where Lumiose is saying like, let's hope that that never happens again. Then Riddler Ku's like, never ever possibly. So it doesn't really help answering. He's basically saying, you know, it's never going to happen, potentially. So I don't think he obviously knows, because, you know, even as a leaker, he wouldn't know that far in the future, I'm assuming. And the best tweet I've read all year, the Pokemon Company was not quite pleased with what they had done to the brand. So it looks like Pokemon generally weren't happy with like Ilka's kind of output with BDSP. I find the hypocrisy of the Pokemon Company is very funny and repulsive at the same time, especially with how Game Freak handled Scarlet and Violet and Creatures did with Detective Pikachu 2. Well, Game Freak did Scarlet and Violet well, and Detective Pikachu is just a bad 3DS game released on the Switch, which it is. I mean, I've not played it, but from what I've seen, from what I've heard, Detective Pikachu Returns is not a very good Pokemon game. But it's a spin-off, so nobody really cares. But then, yeah, so he's basically like I say, he's singing praises of Scarlet and Violet, saying, you know, they did a really good job with it and stuff. So, and I agree. I just think that they should have just maybe patched the bugs and stuff, because there is a lot of bugs in Scarlet and Violet. The frame rate isn't great either. But that's going to be everything to go over for today's video. Let me know your thoughts on everything that we covered today. What do you think the content is that is locked in the Indigo Disk? Again, I'm assuming it's going to be the new 6 Paradox Pokemon: Walking Way, Raging Bolt, Iron Crown, Iron Leaves, Paradox Entei, Paradox Terrakion. I believe they're all going to be locked behind a 7-star raid, which is super, super unfortunate, because I wanted to shiny hunt them, but I'm assuming it's them. I don't know what else it would potentially be. I don't think it's going to be Dokutaru. It's definitely not going to be Terrapagos. I think it's going to be, it might even be like Diplin's final evolution. It could even be Arcaladon. Very, very unlikely, but yeah, that's just something else that it could be. But yeah, it's most likely going to be the Paradoxes. So let me know your thoughts on that, and then also, yeah, everything else that we covered today. But yeah, if you enjoyed, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you're brand new, ring the notification bell for daily Pokemon content. It's everything from me, though. Have a great rest of your day, and until next time, peace.